welcome to the Drone Camps RC version of the Fimi X8 Mini review. We're going to talk about this drone today, and if it's right for you, I'm going to give it some mild comparison to the DJI MIni 2. That is what this one is sort of gunning at as far as it comes to specs. They're similar but not quite the same. The DJI MIni 2 has a little better specs and 1 minute more flight performance. So yeah, but the big difference is the price. And right away, the price of the Mini right now, currently, as this review was made, this is a newer review, is $450. And that comes with one battery. So the Fimi X8 Mini is $369 right now. So I believe the price has dropped from $400 to around $369, which is pretty good. So I did get the one battery version. This one is supposed to fly 30 minutes on a charge. And you can also get this one to be under 250 grams. There's two different batteries available for this one, a standard battery, and there's also a Pro battery. The Pro battery will get it under the 250 grams. So one thing to think about there on the website when you're making the purchase, you can buy the standard version. If you click on that little icon on the bottom right below where it says ship from China, CN, it will say Pro and standard version. So click on the Pro version. The Pro version is $389. So the out the door price on this one right now is $389. That's not bad. It has 37 reviews at 5 stars. So everybody around the world seems to like this one. So I'm very excited to fly it for you today. We're going to talk about the flight characteristics and, most importantly in this review, the video. How does the video quality look? What can I get for $389 in 2021? Middle of the summer 2021. This is the perfect drone to have in the middle of the summer to take on your trip across country or even across the world. I would put this in my bag and do it carry-on luggage and go anywhere with this. The video looks fantastic. If you're still with me in this review, please do make your comment down below. You have to subscribe, number one, and make your comment down below for the Eachine Novice 4 ready to fly that I'm giving away right back here in this box. It also includes a Radiomaster TX12, a charger, a pair of goggles, and a 4-inch drone with GPS return to home. So a really nice 5.8 gigahertz FPV drone we're giving away coming up extremely soon on the channel in the month of July. The last week of July, we're going to give that away. So it is coming right up for the giveaway. So be sure to subscribe and make your comment. Now let's go ahead and go out and do the flight test. After that, we'll come back in on the bench and we'll take a closer look at this little Mini from Xiaomi. It is exceptional, guys, exceptional for what you get for the money on this one. This one is a really good value and the video looks just fantastic. And best of all, I had no lag. I mean, 95% lag free in my phone. And that's running on the Apple iPhone 11. So very, very nice app and a very nice drone. Here we go. Okay guys, now we're going to use the Fimi Navi Mini app and we're going to do the flight test. We're going to go ahead and get this little Fimi Mini up in the air. Let's go ahead and drag the icon over into the takeoff square and it will auto take off at that point. You don't need to do anything with the sticks. This little drone automatically takes off and comes to about, I guess, 3 meters off the ground, and it should come into a solid hover with position hold. It shouldn't go outside of about a 3-foot radius. If it does, if it's moving in circles, that means that you need to recalibrate the compass. Land the drone, turn it off, turn it back on, and recalibrate the compass. Since everything looks fantastic here, we're going to go ahead and do some forward flight, and this is where I really like to see in my first initial impressions of how the video looks. And I have to say the video looks pretty good. There's some pretty good blues. The greens seem pretty saturated. The trees look a little bit dark. You could also adjust that in the color balance. You can go to a manual color balance and you can bring those darks up. But this is what you see. This is just the standard definition from the automatic exposure right here. So this is right out of the box. No settings are changed here to make it look any better, and not also in the video editor. So what you see is what you get. Now I can adjust my gimbal up and down, and sometimes that will change the brightness and contrast, the way things look. But everything seems to be pretty consistent here. I've got a positive tilt on this gimbal, and I can go down negative. And it's cool, if you look in the app on the right hand side, it shows you how many degrees of tilt that you have. Up at the top of the screen you see how many satellites we have, and we also have the modes button on the very bottom. It looks like a little alien with antennas off the top of his head. We have the video button as well, and we have how fast we're moving, meters per second. That's very standard with drones. We also have how far we are from the home point. So at this point, I'm standing behind one of those really thick evergreen trees, and you can see the video recorded here on my phone on the bottom right that I don't have any lag. This is not showing me any stutter, and I'm standing behind a tree. So I'm actually going to step out to the left a little bit here, and I'm going to see how it does. Just give it a little bit of distance. We're going to fly it out there for a little way over these fields, and we're going to see how it does with the transmission. I did have transmission drop out at one point during this review, and we're gonna show you that on the screen. But so far, you can see Mount St. Helens off in the distance. Right at the top of the screen on the far left, you can see Mount St. Helens. It's a really gorgeous day to fly. It was a really sunny, nice summer day, so the perfect day to test out the Fimi Mini. And there's some cows over here to my right somewhere. Beautiful farms out here. Really nice, large properties and houses. And I don't like to fly anywhere where there's a lot of urban or city streets or bus stops or things like that. I like to fly way out in the middle of the country. If you get a drone, I suggest that you get in your car, drive out of town, go somewhere out in a rural area, and get away from the city. You'll have less problems being near an airport as well. And you can check your maps just to make sure that you're not near an airport before takeoff. The DJI drones have automatic built-in apps that won't allow you to fly near a no-fly zone. And the yaw looks okay. There's a tiny bit of stutter on the yaw. Now let's go ahead and put it into sport mode. That's going to allow us to fly much faster. So when you see that happen, you're going to see the camera tilt down a little bit. And a lot of times if that happens, I just bring the camera back up. And right now we're cruising quite a bit faster than we were. So we're going to get back home a little bit quicker. And if you're in a wind situation where you have high winds, just flip it into sport mode and you're going to be able to bite into the wind a little bit better and come home a lot faster if your battery's dropping. That's going to be super important to get your drone back before the battery completely dies and drops to the ground. If you go way out offshore in a coastal environment, that's also something to think about as well. You want to think about the wind and your return home. If you have a headwind, some people that have the Mavic Mini haven't made it back to shore before, so they've had a crash into the ocean. We have a couple of videos like that, the DJI Mavic Mini 2 going into the ocean. But this video looks phenomenal for the price. I mean, I would rather have this on a trip than the full-size Fimi X8. This is a lot less to carry, and the video looks great, and it has all the same type of modes on here. We still have follow me, we have tracking mode, we have spiral, we have waypoints. It's just really, really nice. And I think the yaw could be a little bit better, meaning the pans. The pans could look a little better. There seems to be a little bit of frame loss in the pans, and that has to do with 30 frames per second. If we were shooting at 60 frames per second in 4K, you wouldn't see quite as much stutter on the pans. If you're doing really high-end panoramas, you probably won't want to use the Fimi Mini for that. And that's just my opinion on that. But straight ahead flying, you get those standard drone shots, those nice stabilized drone shots, looking pretty good. And again, even the video way up high, the quality and the detail in the video looks great. You can see that farm way down there, and the haze off in the distance. There are some wildfires in the state right now, so we do have a little bit of a haze, and what that does is it kind of creates like a blue hue off in the distance. Really nice. And since we're recording different frame rate on the app, you might see a little bit of a difference in my app recording from the phone, and there goes the video. So that's where we lost video, so I stopped, and immediately the video came back. I mean, within 5 seconds it came back. The app didn't crash. That's something really important to note in this review. When that happened, the app didn't crash. That's really good. That is really good. I've had to close out other apps like the Bugs series from Geprc. If you guys are familiar with that brand, those apps crash on the Wi-Fi video. And a lot of people don't like Wi-Fi video for that very reason. But this is robust. I would say this is very comparable to the DJI system. And you're most likely not running OcuSync. The new Mini 2 might be actually running OcuSync. And we can check the battery levels in there. And 18650 batteries can go down to about 2.8 volt per cell. So right now I'm good. I'm above 3 volt per cell. So you can go into the settings in the Fimi app and check. Click on battery and check where your battery's at. Now on the main screen it shows you percentage. But this is where you can really see what your battery life's doing during your flight. So that's all real-time information, which is really great. And you can set your low battery warning to, looks like a minimum of 30%. So it's going to start warning me here, but it's going to let me fly down past 30% before it gets into return to home. You should be able to also adjust when it comes home on the low end of your battery, watt percentage. If you wanted to return to home at 10%, but it depends on how far out you're flying. If you're flying out there for miles and miles, I would set it on 30% return to home, just to be safe, to make sure you have enough battery to make it back. Worst case scenario in drone piloting is that you don't have enough battery to make it back on a return to home, and that means you're going to drop out there in the field somewhere and have to go find your drone. Typically, I don't really fly further than I want to walk to pick it up. That's super important. So now this pan up looks pretty good. There's not a lot of distortion in that pan up. Did you notice that? There's a bit of frame loss and a bit of kind of lag in the pans, left to right. And now it's coming back. And I think we're going to bring it down to the field, and I think we should test out some of the modes real quick before we end out our battery. Let's just fly back over here to myself, and let's get into a flight mode. Let's try to find the Follow Me mode in this app. I'm just going to turn around here real quick, wave at you guys. How do you like my shirt? Pretty cool, right? Stay humble and be kind, everybody. We're going to bring that camera up. There we go. There it is. It's a really nice day. Sorry the audio is not syncing up on my voice there, but we're going to go ahead and get into flight mode. And I'm going to turn off the sport mode, and we're going to go back into GPS positioning mode. You need to have GPS positioning on when you do your flight modes. So we have quite a few different flight modes in here. We have orbit, spiral, we have waypoints, cinematic mode, tripod, tap fly, and we have active track mode, very similar to the DJI app. So I'm just going to take it up and bring it out in the field. You want to get a little bit of height. Some of these won't work when you're too low to the ground. So let's go ahead and try orbit mode first, and I'm going to go ahead and click in the center of the screen there where I want it to go, starting at this position, and then you have to fly it away from this position for the next point, and that'll create where your orbit will go. So now we're going to fly over just a bit, okay, and we're going to stop right about here, and we're going to go ahead and, that looks good. Let's go ahead and start our orbit. And I can change the height too. If you're near trees, this does not have any object avoidance on it, so be careful there. So we're going to spin it around. I'm able to do the yaw as well, so I can change the altitude and the yaw while we're doing our orbit. That's really important. So if you're trying to kind of lock in on a subject, you can do that. You can change the yaw and the height. You definitely don't want to hit a tree. No side to side object avoidance on this drone. So it will fly into a tree. And out in Oregon, you have to be careful because you do have some super high trees. But right here, we don't have very high trees. So this is looking pretty good. It is working. The orbit mode is working. You can see me down there. Nice and smooth, this drone. I love how smooth this drone is. And so we're going to come out of that now, and I want to come down, and before my battery dies, I want to try out the follow me mode, and it's called tracking. And so now I'm out and just checking my battery levels real quick. I'm still at 3 volt there. That's still looking pretty good. And now we can go ahead and do the next flight mode. I'm going to click on that little alien guy on the bottom right there and open that up. And we're going to select the track that we want. 3 different tracking modes, which is really nice. So this drone is fast enough to be able to follow a snowboarder, somebody on a motorcycle, drift car, or if you're doing skateboarding. And you want to go ahead and click on go. I want to make sure that this guy's following me. Come on, buddy, follow me. Follow me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this party started. Go ahead and follow me. There we go. It wanted a little bit of height, so I got to fly it a little bit higher. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. And now it's tracking me. Cool. Cool. So come with me, Fimi Mini 4K. Let's go. Let's go out in the field now. Follow me, Mini. There we go. Good job, buddy. Good job. That is looking good. Fantastic. So I wonder how fast I can actually get going with this. I can't outrun this drone. If this is a police drone, I'd be in big trouble. There's no outrunning this Mini. It's going to go wherever I go, and it's following your phone. By the way, triangulation on your phone is how this follow me works. So that worked pretty good. I wish I had a skateboard or something cool to ride for you guys, but yeah. Let's go ahead, and I think it's about time to land this drone. So we're going to go ahead and fly over somewhere where it's going to be safe to land. And it's at low battery point at this point. We don't have enough time to be able to try another mode, but I'm happy that there are different cinematic modes in here. It has orbit and spiral mode. Let's just try spiral mode just for funsies. Let's go ahead and click spiral mode, and just away we go. Go up and see what it does. Let's go up into spiral mode and bring in the camera down so we can see me. Gonna get a good height, and away we go. Away we go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get a spiral mode going before it goes into return home. It might actually happen in the middle of this flight mode. So now she's in spiral mode. That's pretty cool. I haven't done a lot of spiral mode before. This mode's been around with DJI drones for, it seems like, half a decade. This is one of the fun modes that DJI created, or even as far back as the DJI Spark and the Mavic Pro. The Mavic Pro really set new standards for the portable foldable drones. It was the first of its kind outside the Phantom from DJI. Everybody got kind of tired of the big clunky Phantom, and so folding drones became super popular. Now we have sub 250G foldable drones with 4K video at 30 frames per second. How about that hot sauce? That's awesome. So now we're in return to home, low battery mode, and it is coming back slow. So I'm just going to let it go here, you guys, and we're going to see what happens. You can see Mount Hood off in the distance there on the left side of your screen. It's so beautiful today. Really, really nice. So here we come on our final descent, as they call it when you're on an airplane. Why do they call it a final descent? Is it last descent you'll ever make? That's what George Carlin liked to say. Now here we are, you guys. Giving you guys one final wave there. Not the last wave you'll ever see from me. We'll be back. So let's go ahead, guys. Let's go in now and check it out on the bench. Let me give you my opinion on it on the bench. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back from the flight test. That was a lot of fun to fly this little Fimi, and I have to tell you, my first impression of the video is that, I mean, this video almost looks better than my original Mavic Pro. Very nice updated chip on this camera. So it is a CMOS camera, and it is 12 megapixels still. The ISO range is pretty great. It's from 100 to 3200. That is really, really good. And the shutter speed is 32 from 1/8,000th of a second. So a very fast shutter, and it is FAT32 if you're looking to format your SD card, and that's what you're going to format it to. And it does JPEG, JPEG Plus, DNG, and MP4 video format on here as well, which I love. You can use up to about a 250 gigabyte SD card on here. So that's really, really good. You want to make sure that it's a U3 or better recommended on the SD card. The writing speed is around 70 megabytes a second, so it's pretty fast. You can get a pretty big file going if you're writing 4K video format to the SD card. Now, 260 grams here for this standard version. If you get the Pro version, that's going to put it down to about 245 grams. But this drone is foldable. It has brushless motors. We have a 2S battery in the very back. And that Pro version of that battery weighs 86 grams, by the way. There's a little lever here. If you push this little lever up right here, we'll just zoom into it. You've got a USB-C port, and just underneath that little lever, it's kind of nice that that lever from the battery's in the way of the SD card slot. And down here we have a little USB port also. This is a standard Android style port for firmware upgrades, which is nice. You have the connector up here. And this is the battery. This is a 2S 2250 milliamp battery, and this can be charged up USB-C, which is super great. There's a little white light while it's charging. When that white light goes out, the battery's fully charged. I think that mine probably took about an hour and a half to charge this battery. So I'll just zoom in real quick again for you guys so you can see the specs on this battery. It can charge input about 2 amp. 9 volt says up to about 3 amp. And your nominal voltage on this is 2.7 volt or 7.2 volts. So that's going to be a 2S configuration here. But you can see that it's rounded. And this pack has two 18650 batteries to make up a 2S battery for you. And there's the connector there. And it goes in the drone and snaps in place. So it's going to be teeth up, snaps in place, and then also protects this card from coming out in a crash. So that's kind of nice. And the arms feel pretty good. This drone body actually feels a little better than the DJI Mini 2. It feels just a little bit thicker. And that might be why this one's a little bit heavier, but I love the stance on this. It has that sort of original Mavic Pro stance. This 3-axis mechanical gimbal looks really, really nice and simple there. And again, that's a CMOS camera with 12 megapixels still, and that's acceptable for what this is. That had way better specs than the original from DJI. So ultrasonic detection on the bottom of it as well, so it detects the ground. It's also rocking some GLONASS GPS on top here, and I had to move location the first time that I was calibrating the compass because I kept getting a geomagnetic interference for some reason near my phone, and it might have been my phone or the area that I was flying at, but I got in my car and drove somewhere else and it seemed to be fine. But I also did distance my phone about 10 to 12 feet away from the drone, and that seemed to help. So walk away from your transmitter when you are calibrating the compass. If you press and hold back here, press once and hold again, you'll see this lights up and it will show you your current battery status. And right now we're at blinking on 1 because we did a flight, and your ultrasonic sensors on the bottom, as well as your optical flow. It has 2 of those on the bottom for sensing the ground, and it really does sense the ground. I also tried to catch this drone, and for some reason, like the DJI drones, will land in your hand and turn off. This one kind of jumped out of my hand and hit on the ground upside down, which was kind of crazy. I was expecting that this drone would just like turn its motors off once these ultrasonic sensors detected that it was on my hand. A lot of the drones out there do that for you, but this one did not. But I'm also happy that in the box you get quite a few accessories in here. You get all the cables for the transmitter itself. You get 3 different cables for your phone, and the transmitter itself was very simple. You also get an instruction manual, and you get a mini screwdriver for taking on and off your props. And that is a little Phillips head, little tiny Phillips head. These are little black Phillips heads that hold on the props, and those are 2-blade configuration there. And we also get some extra props, which is really cool. Now, in the top of the box also, you get the QR code. So as soon as you open the box, you see this QR code for the Fimi app download. That's really nice. And that app's called Fimi Navi Mini. Fimi Navi Mini. And each of these cables hook up to a different style phone. This is a USB cable, USB-C, and this is standard Android cable, and the Lightning cable for the iPhone. And all of these plug in USB-C on this side to the transmitter right here. So you'll plug it in right here, and you'll run the cable up to the side on the right-hand side and plug in your phone. And this baby extends pretty far. Look at that. Almost all the way across the screen there. And then you have these 2 antennas that stick up, and these are your transmission antennas, and they are hooking up to Wi-Fi on the drone. So also on the bottom, you notice that the sticks weren't on there, and these gimbals are pretty sweet. They feel pretty good. And I did fly out a pretty good distance with the drone. I didn't have a lot of lag back to my phone, which was super great. I was able to fit my phone in there without the OtterBox case on there. So if you have some kind of case, the cable itself might not plug into the phone, because a lot of times this style cable right here, this is in the way it sits on that 90-degree angle. I'm not sure why they did that. If they did it straight on, maybe it would have worked a little better, but it has to accommodate the transmitter. So that's why they have it on a 90. But the way it sits in there, I had to take the case off the phone, unfortunately. If you press on the power button on the side, it shows you your current battery status inside your transmitter. If you press and hold, it turns this on. We have return to home switch here. We have photo here. We have video here. And we have gimbal control here. So when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, this is actually really simple. I love the way this works out. Very simple. And it's great for beginners. And this also has, looks like a 3500 milliamp battery inside. And that one can be charged input about 2 amp. So this one takes about an hour and a half to charge up as well. But the sticks feel very similar to anything DJI. It kind of does feel like the DJI Mini remote. Really nice. And portable. So these fold down just like so. And the transmitter, it's wild. The transmitter is about the same size as the drone. I mean, not bad. So I think that this one overall is definitely a good choice for guys that are looking for something like a little cheaper than the DJI Mini. I mean, I know we're looking at probably about a $70 difference. But honestly, I feel like this one is going to be a little cheaper to maintain. So if cost is a thing and you're not wanting to pay the high price of DJI, this one's absolutely a great alternative. And I've had great luck with the Fimi series. The Fimi X8 series is incredible. 8 kilometer range on this one is nothing to shake a stick at. It's a really nice range. It's going to be around 5 miles range with this little guy. So with such a long flight time, you could really get far out there with this. And I trust the app that it's not going to freeze. This is not like those toy drones, like the Bugs series drones that have a lot of app crash. The app didn't crash on me. So I did run out of my video range one time because I was flying behind a tree, and I wanted to test out how powerful it was through something like an Oregon evergreen tree. Evergreens are notorious for blocking my signal, even a 2.4 signal. Sometimes I've had fail-safe in the drone, FPV race drone, drops to the ground, whereas this one just blasted right through the tree. The great penetration for this radio system, even using Wi-Fi on here, very strong signal. And I did get it to go out, but the app, after a few seconds, went back to full video in real time. So the app didn't crash. It went blank for a second and came back, and that's really good news. So the app is like 2 thumbs up, really well made from Xiaomi. So I think they, or Xiaomi, or however you say that, I think they did a great job. Brushless motors, cheaper than the DJI Mini 2. And oh my God, fantastic video on this, you guys. Such good video. Under 250 grams for the Pro version too. I think this is the one to get this year. If you're looking for an ultra portable drone, this is the ticket. So you can check out the link down below, guys. Click subscribe on the channel to get entered into our giveaway as well for the Novice 4 that's coming up this week on the Drone Camps channel. Click subscribe, make your comment, and you'll be entered to win, because we're going to use every video from July. If you comment on any video in July, you'll be entered to win for the Eachine Novice 2 that sits right back here. So I really appreciate you watching my videos and finding out about all the new drones on the channel, guys. Stay tuned for more drone videos and some awesome RC airplane videos coming up. FPV, camping gear, all the good stuff on the Drone Camps channel. Camping and drones right here. Take care, guys. Stay humble and be kind, and I'll see you on the next one.